There are two different ways to create links, hidden links to files on Moodle, depending on how you created the original file that you're linking to. I'll show you both ways in this section. The first thing you need to do is create the text that you're going to use for the link. So I'm just going to add it in here. Change that to heading 4 as always. Now Moodle usually has two different types of documents. The one is a Moodle page which has been created using the Moodle editor, and the other is when you've uploaded for example, a Word document or a PowerPoint into the files section, and you link to these two different types files slightly differently. First of all, the easiest one to do is linking to a page that you've created in Moodle. You can see that it's a Moodle page because it's got this little page icon next to it. So I'm going to click on the page and open it, and if you look right up at the top of your page, you see the URL or the address for that page. Now I've copied that by placing my cursor in there and right clicking and selecting copy. Now I'm going to open that block again, and I'm going to use the first three words to create a link. The link will go wherever I've highlighted. So I click on Insert Web Link. That appears. I put my cursor into the URL block and I right click and I paste. And there is the URL from that document. And I'm going to say click to access info on web pages. This is the screen tip, so if you are rolling your cursor over the screen, that's what it'll appear, and this tells you it's going to open into a new window. At this point I'm not going to anchor my link to anything. I click OK, and I can see that that has now become a link, and there you can see the screen tip appearing. Now the other kind of file requires a slightly different process for linking, and I'll use the last three words for that. If you remember, this is how to link to a Word or a PowerPoint document that I've created and uploaded using the files setting. So I select my text, I click link, the same thing appears, but now instead of just pasting the URL, I've got to browse for that file. Now I have already uploaded it into Moodle, so there it is. I click on the file, and I put in my screen tip, I open it in a new window. So there I've got two links that should work. We can test them now. Click on the first one, there it is. It's opened in a new window, so I close it to exit. And here I am back at my main page. Now if I look at the other one, and there the PDF is. Go back to the main page. Now what's happening here is we're developing a bit of a list which looks a bit ugly. So what I would suggest we do is we move by putting our mouse and dragging that first link on the four-pointed arrow. You use the left button on the mouse and you hold it down to drag. Now I've dragged it into a block that has its eye closed. If I open the eye, that also appears. If I close it, they both, but I can open the eye on that while keeping that eye closed. So if I switch to student view, that second block is empty, but the link still works, which is quite a neat little function. Just to show you what would happen if we close that eye, switch to student view, and then we try and link. When the eye on that document is closed, we have a problem. So it's very important to have it set up properly. So what we want to make sure we do is we keep that eye closed and that eye open. And this obviously explains why it's very important to be careful when you're scrolling up and down a page. It's very easy to accidentally close one of those eyes. And I'll show you the real use for this little trick of hiding things is you can have an awful lot of resources on a page and yet the students don't necessarily see them. If you look at this There's a lot of information on this page. It actually looks quite messy, and if I was a student, particularly a student who's a little bit anxious about IT, I would feel quite intimidated by that. But if you look at the way the students see the page, it's a lot simpler and easier for them to use. So that's the purpose of having that hidden function.